Streaming to you live from the Boys Fort in downtown Rose City, it's Live in Portland with Chris Franklin! This week's guests are Rolf and Jake from the Boys Fort, Sony Felberg from Chickaboom, comedy by Milan, Patel, Linds and Taylor of Momotaro Apotheca, Analise Cleopatra of Masterpeace with Analise, Brian Kappel of Space Monkey Designs, and music by Bula, with our in-house band, Sexy Marvin and the Extraterrestrials. Now here's your host, storming the Boys Fort, Chris Franklin!
Making all the right calls, Josh. Thank you so much. He's a referee uniform for all those who missed it. This is Live in Portland, episode 11. I can't believe we made it here. This is just crazy. Before we get started, we're here at the very amazing Boys Fort in downtown Portland, a place that you can get your Lost in Portland gear, but not only that, this is like a finely curated space of Portland and Oregon artists to showcase their work. It's almost like walking through a museum. It's quite remarkable here. Before I bring out the owners and founders of Boys Fort, I want to talk to you about a little bit something that went through my mind. Recently, I was in Washington on a waterfall hike with two of my best friends. And the waterfalls are where I find my communal space, like where I find my energy, where I'm replenished. And I got to thinking about what joy means to me in my life. I feel like I've been working a lot lately. Live in Portland is something that means something so much to me. And it's important that I continue to make it fun. Because we sometimes get bogged down as creative artists. We try to build the thing that is in our head and try to achieve so much, and we get stuck in the nuances, and we forget why we started this completely. And that's for joy, for love. We have something to contribute to our community, to our society, and this is the best representation of it. I've got so many amazing people here. Welcome to the Live in Portland audience here in the studio. Welcome everybody at home on Facebook Live. I've got an amazing show for you, and I'm going to start it off with the owners of Boys Fort. Two men who are very inspiring to me. Jake and Rolf, come on out. This feels familiar.
Yeah, we did this a long time
ago. It was about 4 years ago when I was starting Lost in Portland. I was like, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to sit down and talk to the entrepreneurs that inspire me in Portland. I did a 1-episode series. I'm done. That's the only people I need to talk to. That was you guys, Jake and Rolf, at your former location downtown.
Yes.
We're now in a new location.
We are.
Let's talk about the address, so everybody knows.
The address.
Yeah.
Yes, on the same street. We're 1001 Southwest Morrison.
It's kind of magical. 1001.
It is.
It's pretty great.
It's like what is it? Computer 001.
I'm sure it must mean something.
Right on the Max line.
Yep.
And I feel like you're coming into this place inspired. Like this place was definitely built off literal blood, sweat, and tears.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of blood.
Let's talk about the origins of Boys Fort. This is the 5th iteration of Boys Fort.
It is.
You can see right across the street Target, and that was our very first pop-up shop in 2011.
It was.
And we filled the whole first floor of that, and it was 4,000
square
some
feet.
odd feet. Mm-hmm. For a pop-up.
Yeah,
right.
For like,
that was rough.
7 weeks. And why not?
We didn't
Let's
learn our
build this
lesson, and we're still here.
And you're still here.
Still here.
You're still
We
here.
did a few pop-ups because we're very, very reluctant shop owners, and
Yeah,
so
we still
everyone's like, "No, you need to open a store," and I'm like, "No." But then we found that space across the street, and
Yeah.
we were there for 5 years.
You were there for 5 years.
Yeah.
And what you've done in the meantime is you've given a lot of small businesses and companies like their start.
Lots of artists.
Yeah.
That's pretty rewarding.
Absolutely.
You know, no one told me when we started this that our favorite part of our job would be once a month. We write checks to all of our friends. That's pretty amazing. I mean,
Absolutely.
that wasn't in the planning. That just happens.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And one of the people who have a space in your store is Archie Archibald.
Oh, yes.
That's how I found out about
Archie
you guys.
was our right-hand man.
Yeah.
Actually, when we were doing our first pop-up,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a couple maps, and he was like, "Hey, you want to sell my maps?" And we're like, "These are fantastic."
Yeah.
And now he does awesome. He's all over the world, and
Yeah. Very simplified
super,
maps.
yeah.
That makes so much sense. So he has this circular rendition of Portland, divided by Burnside, divided
That was
by
his
the
first
Willamette.
product.
Yeah.
That was his very first one. We thought, he said, "I don't suppose you'd want to sell my map." We said, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we do.
it was
Yeah.
good.
And I could say, in developing Lost in Portland, that name rings true to how I operate in Portland, and that was
It's a help, huh?
and that was a substantial help. So when did you guys start Boys Fort?
Yeah, well, in 2011, and we just were like, "Well, I don't know, let's throw up a show, and do a shop." And we just gathered a bunch of artist friends that we had, and we're like, "Here, can you make this? And can you make this?" And we wanted to make kind of a male-centric gift shop for Christmas. That's all it was supposed to be. And it just kind of like snowballed from there, and here we are.
Yeah.
Now it's like,
Yeah, when it closed, we looked at each other and said, "Oh, thank God that's over." Because we both hate retail, but this isn't like retail.
No,
this
it's
is
not.
like.
yeah.
It's kind of like showing up and playing the store every day. It's
Yeah.
really nice. It's
Yeah.
really nice. I mean, there's a lot of crying and
Like all the pains that exist
yeah.
with developing, a retail space in downtown
It's not
of
easy.
heavily curated items.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to try to fill what we kind of thought was like the void of kind of the things that we wanted to see in a shop, and the people that we've been able to support doing that, and the artists we've been able to show. It's been really fun to watch us evolve over all these years. So I'm very happy where we are and the place we've landed. So.
Let's talk about the name, Boys Fort.
We've all had one,
Yeah.
Most women who come into the store say, "I had one too," because when you're a kid, that's your refuge. It's what you build on your own, whether it's a pillow fort or a box in the backyard, but it's where you feel safe, and it's like it's what we started out to do, just that everyone could have a boys' fort.
Yeah.
And it was called Boys' Fort because it was going to be a men's store, but
Right.
it could be any fort. But
Absolutely.
it's stuck.
Now we just kind of call it the fort.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just supposed to be a place where you can kind of nostalgically, your secret place where you keep your stuff, and it's just for you kind of thing.
You have the slogan, "Build your fort."
Yeah.
Your fort.
Which,
Because anybody could.
Yeah.
It's just like everybody's like, "I want a fort." And well, yeah. Well, if you got a room that you're comfortable in, if that's it. Just claim it.
Yeah.
It's your fort. It's like it's a silly idea, but it's a really great one too.
yeah. I agree. I totally agree.
Super silly. But
And you guys didn't just jump into it. There was a bit of design background that you both had, and design experience.
Yeah, I mean, we were, it was a little bit after 2008, and we were kind of underemployed and trying to figure out what to do. And so we just were kind of crazy enough to be like, I have an idea.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. Not thinking, oh, you mean we're going to work for like 48 days without a day off and like forget we had like other jobs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we had the jobs when we were doing that too.
Yeah, right. Because like there was a bit of interior design that was in the beginning. Yeah.
True to form, not always thought through, but but we had fun and yeah.
And you've developed quite a space, and I think my studio audience can all agree that Boys Fort is quite a spectacular place. And can I go around
We did it for you.
Nice. Jake, well, first I have to address something, and I know Rolf, maybe in particular, wouldn't like me to address this, but it's your birthday.
Well, there
Happy
you go.
birthday, Rolf.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to be all of your fathers.
Well, this is so amazing. I'm glad we're here. Can you tell my audience at home, first off, how to get here and where to find you on social media?
Yeah, sure thing, of course. We're downtown Portland, on the corner of 10th and Morrison, on the Max tracks and the streetcar, and just across the street from the City Target.
City Target.
And we're at downtown, at Boys Fort Downtown on Instagram and Facebook.
I want to thank you so much for representing
This is
the
awesome.
creative artists in Portland. You give us so much energy. I've received the checks that you guys write to your friends. And
That's
it's
right.
like, and you know what? Like starting out, it's very scary, and I melded so well with your philosophy. It's everything like I ever wanted. So like I'm super happy for the opportunity, and now we're gonna take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Rolf.
Thanks, Chris.
Sexy Marvin and the Extraterrestrial. Take it away. Marvin. Yeah, do you love the new space? I know, it's amazing! We're only here for one time, so we gotta make the most of it. Well, maybe we'll come back. That's awesome. I'm super happy, Marvin. Thank you. My next guest, I'm extremely excited to have on. It's amazing to see when everything you've done in life melds together so well and you become a producer of a product that means so much to so many people. My next guest, Sonny Felberg, makes Chickaboom guitars, and I'm so happy to have him come on the show. Sonny Felberg, come on out!
No, thanks for having me.
Sonny.
Yes.
I'm so happy to have you on.
Oh, good. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Let's talk about Chickaboom.
Okay, Chicky Boom.
Chicky Boom.
Chicky Boom. Yeah, it's my wife's nickname.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I got it from.
Nice.
Yeah.
You've got one of your guitars right here.
These are one of the Chicky Booms, a simple one string.
Yeah.
They're a traditional blues guitar.
Yeah.
I like to call them a plantation guitar.
Okay.
But they're based on instruments in Africa. When they brought all the slaves over, developed them on the plantation. With the materials they had, this is what they had to build replicas of what they had at home.
Whoa, a little bit of history.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
They're American history. They're the American original 3-string guitar or 1-string.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about the one string. Like.
So the 1-string is called a dilly bow.
Okay.
Very simple to play. You're never out of tune with the 1-string. Okay, I'm not a player.
Yeah.
Builder. But there's a guy that you might have heard of here into guitars, named Bo Diddley.
Yeah.
He started on a diddley bow when he was young. That's what he became famous for.
Yeah.
And so he just took the name, kind of turned it around, and got his name out of it.
Yeah. That's awesome. So let's talk about first your musical background and your participation in the musical industry.
So as you can tell by my playing skills, I'm not a musician, and I really wish I could have been. So I've always found my way to put myself a rock star adjacent.
Yes.
Yeah. So I started in a little studio in Seattle in the 90s.
Yes.
And I was intending to just get skills and go to LA, but then grunge happened.
Yes.
And so I thought, why am I moving?
Right.
Yeah. So I worked for a little band out of Seattle called Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam. Has anybody heard of Pearl Jam?
And then they had the same sound crew as Chili Peppers, so I got inherited into that gig as well.
That's incredible. And so not only were you making sound, like engineering sound for two of some of the most iconic bands of my lifetime and my generation, but you are also an artist.
Yes, the entire time I also was a painter.
Yeah.
I love painting. It's great. I'm one of those people that spent a year on one piece.
Yeah.
It didn't scale well as far as becoming profitable for an artist.
Right.
But then over time I got bored with it, and my job was slowing down. Lots of free time, so I thought for the third time in my life I'd teach myself how to play guitars.
Yeah.
And I got a guitar. I got a bass. Got another one. I really kind of sucked at it.
Yeah.
So my wife laid down a rule: no more buying guitars so you can play one well.
Yeah.
So I found a loophole.
Okay.
Being an engineer, I like to know how things work. I can't use something until I know how it works. So I thought, I read about these cigar box guitars. I think I had the tools to build one. So I built one. Then I built two more, sold them.
Yeah.
And that was like 700 guitars later.
Jeez. Now tell me about like what is all involved in these guitars, because it's like so many knick-knack pieces put together.
So part of the skill of it is to kind of build it with parts you might have had lying around at a hardware shop or a farm. So traditionally they would use a broomstick and the wire from a broom and stick it in the cigar box was discarded. So these are actual cigar boxes. I get them from Paul's Cigar Box Shop. They collect them and give them to me. So when a hot day, you can still kind of get the smell out of them.
Okay.
It's a hand-carved mahogany. That was supposed to be a piece of mahogany decking, but I made the neck out of. This one has simple electronics, just a vibration pickup against the neck, but some of them have nice coil pickups in them.
Awesome. And so this is just one of your guitars.
Yeah, this is one very simple model.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have quite a few on display here at Boys Fort.
Yes. Yeah, they're a great outlet. I'm so happy.
Right.
And I too appreciate the once a month routine.
Yeah. Well, tell me about producing this product and like what made you want to do this?
I was always involved in music. After I left music, I got into managing television network on cell phones. That was great for a while, and then it all fell apart at the same time.
Yeah.
Right about that time, I was looking for something new. I was bored. I was no longer doing music, just software.
Yeah.
And I wanted something to tie me back. So when it fell into these things, I loved it. It was great. It was a great opportunity just to express myself as an artist.
Yeah.
And I do everything from these to I will rebuild electric guitars and put collage projects on them.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
We actually have one on display. I'm sorry, home audience, that you can't see it, but we're gonna bring it out.
Oh, there you go.
Let's just yeah.
Oh, you can do it. It's technology.
Yeah. You know what? We've got a guitarist here on set.
I've heard.
I was wondering if we could set this up on an amp and we could hear a little tune, like what happens when you play a cigar box guitar from Tiki Boom.
Let's see.
All right. Yeah, it's a totally different vibe, right? Dope. That's a dope groove. Hell yeah. And so it's a single scale.
Yes.
And I mean, this is the first time. They don't have that on your planet, do they? So it's incredible that like you could take a skilled guitarist, but anybody could play the one
very
string.
simple. And you're never out of tune with the one string.
Yeah.
Very easy to play instrument. I actually have a variation of that where I just put the blues scale on it, so it's a no-fail guitar.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming
Thanks for
out,
having me, man.
Sonny.
I love your show.
Like, yeah. let's give it a hug. Everybody, Sonny! Take it away, Norman. Guest is a comedian. You can find him at Helium and all sorts of comedy spots throughout Portland. I'm super excited to have him on. Milan, come on out. Milan Patel, everybody.
Thank you so much. Cool. Can you guys hear me okay, or you guys are good? Okay. Dude, this is great. Give it up for Boys Club for, again. Yeah, man. I don't know. It sucks that we can only be here this week. Like, I can't wait for next week, though, when we actually do the show in the City Target. Yeah, it's going to be in the Blu-ray section next to, like, a box set of The Sopranos. So if you come, like, you'll get that or something. I don't know. I don't know the detail. It's great to be here, man. This is cool. Like, I don't, like, appreciate enough, like, when I do cool shows like this because, like, I was just in Sioux Falls, South Dakota for a comedy festival. And, like, some of you guys don't know. If you don't know what a comedy festival is, it's where you spend $450 to go to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And then you come back, and your friends are like, how was it? And you're like, I don't want to talk about it. It was okay. It was fine. Like we went out to a bar after one of the shows, and this drunk dude came up to me, and, like, he singled me out of everybody. And he was like, hey, man, I saw you from across the bar. I can tell you're not from around here. Just want to come up, introduce myself. I got a question for you. I was like, all right, what's your question? He was like, well, I just want to know, you good people? And I was like, what? He was like, you heard me, you good people? I was like, yeah, man, I'm good people. He's like, all right, cool. He's like, what are you drinking? I was like, I don't know, it's like an IPA. And he was like, tss, I don't even know what that is. That was my favorite part. And I don't know, and then he left, which is fine. But, like, and listen, dude, I don't like to assume the worst about people, and, like, I really don't. But, you know, that guy was a racist piece of shit. And, because, like, I've been brown long enough, you know, like, I know what that guy was asking me. He wasn't asking me if I was good people. What he was really asking me was, hey, man, are you going to try to, like, commit jihad on my bar here tonight? Because, you know, like, I like coming here. And that's just, like, weird to me that he would say that, you know? Because, like, I was drinking an IPA. What kind of terrorist orders an IPA before they blow some shit up? That doesn't even make sense. Like, he goes up to the bartender and he's like, excuse me, this is a Russian terrorist that I'm going to do. I don't do accents. This is the only one I know how to do. He's like, excuse me, I'm going to blow up this bar later tonight, but first I have an important question for you. How hoppy is the Jackhammer IPA? Is it like very hoppy, or? He's like, yeah, it's hot. Oh, that's good. I like hops. He's like trying to. He's a beer snob / terrorist. Oh yeah, and then that dude came back up to me and he was like, "All right, have a good night, brother." And I was like, "Did this guy just think I was black this whole time?" Like, I don't think he knows what race I am. Jesus Christ, man. It's alright, dude. Like, that guy was just ignorant, which is, like, fine. I'm pretty ignorant, too. But, like, I'm trying to be a better person, you know? Like, I have a lot of role models. Like, one of my role models is Malala. You guys know who she is, right? She's pretty amazing, man. She won the Nobel Peace Prize when she was, like, 17. and now she just goes around the world talking about women's education. Like, she's pretty amazing, but she's also one of those people, she's like too perfect, you know? Like, if you met her, you wouldn't even be able to relate to her. Like, I could never be friends with Malala. Could you guys? No, you couldn't. Like, could you imagine being roommates with Malala? You just feel bad about yourself all the time. You just, like, walk in hungover on a Saturday. You're like, oh, God, Malala, I drank so much last night. Holy shit. I think I blacked out. I don't even know how I got home. I think I drove. Oh, holy shit, I think I drove home. Oh, my God. Anyway, she ended up coming out to that party, and, like, she's just, like, on her laptop. She's like, you know, I didn't make it out. I was working on that speech for the UN, so. He's like, oh, yeah, you still working on it? That's cool. You know what I mean? Like, she's, like, passive-aggressive about stuff, too. She's like, hey, did you remember to pay the internet bill? You're like, yeah, I think I paid it. She's like, well, you didn't, so. Also, have you been eating my almonds? Because the bag's lower. You're like, yeah, I thought those were for everyone. But. You know what I mean? Like, you can't talk to her about your problems. Malala doesn't care about your problems. You're like, oh, God, Malala, I had the worst day today. I dropped my iPhone, and, like, the screen cracked on my iPhone. And she's just like, yeah, that does sound pretty hard. That reminds me of a hard time that I had in my life when the Taliban tried to assassinate me. But, you know, I just knew that I had to persevere and get through that, and I did. You just have to be like, thanks, Malala, thanks for the perspective. You always help me see the bigger picture. Really, like, your friends don't get it. Your friends don't understand at all. Your friend's like, oh my God, you live with Malala? You're so lucky, dude. Like, she's amazing. You're just like, I don't know, man. Like, Malala's kind of a bitch sometimes. They're like, what? Sweet, sweet Malala? What did you just say about her? I don't mean it like that, but it is what it is. I don't know. It's all good, though. I do like Malala. She's a cool person. I don't know if you guys saw, did you guys see this in the news? They released all the files that were on Osama bin Laden's computer. Did you guys see that?
No.
Yeah, it was a few months ago. Like, the CIA raided his compound, they took his computer, and then they put all his files on their website. You can look it up. And the weird part is that he just had, like, a bunch of movies that he had downloaded onto his computer. And, like, you know, I don't know if he paid for them or not, but like, I don't want to like accuse him of being like a movie pirate on top of everything else. Like, I don't think that's gonna affect anyone's like thought on him. Like, wait, he did what? He pirated films? You know that takes away jobs. You know? So I just want to tell you guys, I'll tell you guys my 4 favorite movies that were on Osama bin Laden's computer. And these are true. You can look them up. These are real. Number 1, Ants, the animated movie. And, you know, no Bug's Life, so that kind of tells you who he is as a person. The next one, Cars, was on there. Pretty low-level Pixar, in my opinion. But next one, Cars 2, because, you know, you want to see how that franchise goes. And then the last one, it's funny to me, like, it's never funny to anybody in the crowd, but it's Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. Yeah, it's one person. Yeah, me, you. It's just me, the camera guy, and Osama bin Laden that know about that. 3 people. God. And, like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think this all goes without saying, but, like, obviously Osama, he's a horrible person. You know, terrorism is horrible, obviously. And, you know, it's good that he's dead. I think we can all agree on that pretty easily in this room. But I think you could also agree that, like, you could have a pretty chill Sunday afternoon watching movies with Osama bin Laden. Like, that wouldn't be the worst Sunday of your life, is all I'm saying. Like, I just imagine sitting on the couch with him, you, like, finish watching Cars, and he just looks at you and he's like, you want to watch Cars 2? Or... Fuck it, let's run it. I don't know, man. He seems like cool. If I'm being honest, I think I'd rather hang out with Osama than I would with Malala. Like, that's just how it is. You guys are cool. I think I'm out of time, so...
Tell my audience where they can find you on social media?
Oh yeah, just look me up on Twitter. It's Milan_Patel, MILAN_Patel, PATEL. And yeah, just look me on Twitter. That's my only good platform.
Dope. Thank you for coming in. That was such an awesome set. The show's been awesome so far. Can I get a round of applause for all of us? This would not be happening without the support of our sponsors. I want to give a special thanks to Abbey Creek Winery and Mad Hippie skincare products. Thank you so much for allowing this to happen. I'm so excited that we could do this live with such an amazing production team, our house band, which is fantastic. And yeah, we've got so much more for you. But first, it's time to crack open a beer. Whew. I get super nervous when I start this. Like, I just never know how it goes, you know? Like, but so far so good, right? My next guest, I'm really excited to bring her on. She represents something, a discussion that we probably should all talk about. I'm gonna bring her to the stage. Lindsay Wind, come on out. Lindsay Wind.
Hey.
Let's talk about Momotaro.
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 It's okay. I represent a company called Momotaro Apotheca. We are an all-organic, plant-based vaginal wellness company. Some of you are probably like, what's vaginal wellness, right? It's kind of a thing we invented, but we
not the vagina, but the approach.
So we create products that help topical infections like UTIs, yeast infections, BV, really common things about half of the population deals with and nobody really talks about.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's some people out here that can relate or have a story, but we're also really aiming to change the conversation about how we talk about vaginas and care for our vulvas, which...
Totally. Well, I'm still learning about the subject, so RG Press has a map of the vagina. I'm excited to talk about this because, I mean, there's just so much going on here that I think as men, in particular, we're here at Boys Fort, let's just be honest, like we feel like this is a discussion that we don't need to have, but it concerns 50% of our population. And I'm a 35-year-old man, and I'm so ignorant to like what the systems that go on, and like even outside of my sex, I feel like there's women who don't understand the holistic approach that you are trying to bring to the table when it comes to vaginal health care.
Totally. And like, just a quick question, like, do you know the difference between the vulva and the vagina?
Well, let me check the map. So the vulva is the outer lining?
Yeah, I mean, it's the vulva, your vagina is actually going to be your vaginal opening here. So where, insertion happens, things like that. Your vulva is going to include your labia, your clitoris, and all the other good things we have going on there. Mm-hmm. And both things take a lot of care, right? Yeah. And for different reasons. You also have urethra. Some people, there's, where you pee. And, a lot of different things happening. And so, holistic care is a big part of that. Like, you can have irritation from other causes, whether it's sex or clothing or exercise, or you can just have, those monthly hormonal changes that will give you some symptomatic things. And we should be having conversations because it's a quality of life issue. Like, nothing is worse than waking up in the morning and knowing something is wrong, and you're like, well, shit, what's going on? What do I do? And a reason we say vaginal wellness and talk about that is because it's about addressing it in that holistic way and being able to have things that will help us and help our body's natural systems, because the vagina is self-cleaning, and we just, we need to help it out here and there.
Yeah.
So having products or routines that allow us to do that are really helpful.
Yeah.
Whether it's mentally or physically.
Well, let's talk about the products, because there have been products on the market that address the vagina. Is that awkward? Is that weird? Like, I don't know. That's
That's like feminine care.
Okay. Yeah.
Like the Vagisills of the world, which is like the worst word.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure some women can relate. Like, nobody wants to go into a store and buy some Vagisil. It doesn't feel good. You're like, oh, this is embarrassing. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Monistat too. There's got to be some women out there that have experienced this, and you like get to the counter and you're like, don't look at that. I'm just buying olive oil.
Yeah.
So yeah, why not create something that's beautiful, that talks about our body anatomically correct, and provides support and gives it a new name. You know, like, come on, we all have sex. We've all in some way or another had a relationship with a vagina. That we came out of one, we have one, or know someone in our life that does. Like, let's just deal with it. Let's talk about it, and let's take care of them.
Yeah.
I think most people would agree they're pretty awesome.
Can we get a round of applause for vaginas, everybody? Vaginas. So you have 3 products.
Yes.
Let's start off with the salve. Tell me your approach and what you wanted to address with the salve.
Yeah, the salve was our first product, and it's like what we sell the most of. It's really easy to use. It's basically a jar, all plant-based again. We have lots of coconut butter, tea tree, golden seal. It's naturally antimicrobial, antifungal, soothing, healing, and to be honest, multi-use. I like rub this stuff all over my body.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it can help with whether you're having changes monthly, and it'll help with your pH balance. It will help irritation from yeast or sex. It depends how you want to use it, and it depends what you need it for. Our other products do kind of the same thing. There's a lot of different ways you as an individual can approach this, what you need it for specifically, like our bath oil. You can put it topically for ingrown hairs, things like that. And then our hydrosol product, and for those of you who don't know what hydrosol is, it's basically the distillate you get when you make essential oils, but it's water-based, so it's a lot softer. It's not as volatile as an essential oil might be, and that comes in a spray form. Again, you can kind of spray it all over in your underwear, post-exercise, yoga, things like that.
Awesome. Lindsay, let's talk about you. You are a creative artist, and this is kind of like a culmination of your talents. Yeah. You were a photographer before. Let's talk about the process of building the brand and how that all came about.
Yeah. So it came from experience. Not to put my vagina on blast, but like I had cyclical infections. I couldn't get rid of it, and I had a really supportive business partner that we were able to come up with solutions. We saw a gap in the marketplace. I'm speaking a lot to what I was experiencing, going to the drugstore and having it be embarrassing, only having options of chemical-laden products, and my body wasn't responsive to that. So we started having a little DIY and scouring the internet and figuring out that we could do it better. Yeah. And my background was in beauty and in photography, and also wanting to create images and something that supported people and allowed them to connect with us. And through that process, I've photographed a ton of different people. My work was and still is heavily on the nude side. And you have these people coming in and like exposing themselves in more than one way, and then talking to me about their own experiences sexually, reproductively, like just the myriad of things individuals go through. And it was so cool and like so informing. And now that relationship happens very naturally, and I'm learning so much more about Momotaro and about myself and about how we can help people more, which is really cool.
And I'll say it over and over again. It's a true blessing when your passion aligns with your community and how you can effectively change it.
Totally.
Yeah. I'm super like inspired by what you guys have created at
Yeah.
Momotaro. Say it one more time.
Momotaro.
Momotaro.
It's kind of a mouthful,
Yeah.
so it's okay.
Yeah, and for my audience at home, how can they get in touch with Momotaro, buy the products, and keep in touch with them on social media?
Yeah, so our website is momotaroapotheca.com. We're direct to consumer at the moment. You can buy our products there. Our Instagram is Love Momotaro. That's LOVEMOMOTARO. And yeah, follow us there. We're very active. We like to, we have a voice in that space, and it's really exciting for us. So.
And it's important to keep that narrative,
Yeah.
that conversation continuing.
Totally.
And I was going to give this as a gift to you, but I feel like I need to study it more.
I think you should keep it. I think you should learn more.
So if you come to my house and you see this on the wall, you know where it came from. Well, thank you, Lindsay, so much for coming on the show. Sexy Marvin, take it away. Guys, my next guest, I'm such a fan of hers. I've seen her design shoes, I've seen her amazing artwork, and I'm gonna bring her out onto the stage. Analise, Cleopatra, come on out. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Amazing things you've done here.
Well, you know what? I have awesome friends. I consider you one of them, and I'm definitely inspired by my friends. And I think there's amazing things that you have done. And I want to talk about all of the things.
Okay.
But there's something that has taken precedent, and that's your new art school.
Art class.
Art class, yeah.
So I was lucky enough to be a part of an installation that's happening at the Portland Art Museum by some friends of mine. I was invited by Keon Gaskin, and it's part of a thing called Construct Meetup. Mm-hmm. But I got to teach a figure drawing class at the art museum, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
I can say I did that.
Yeah. At the Portland Art Museum, which is like, if you haven't been to the Portland Art Museum, they curate art so well, and I think curating you into that program is another masterpiece they brought in. You also are creating this kind of media front on how you want to address nature and art and like the symbiosis of it. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, so, I mean, we live in this wonderful climate, and I have land. Well, my landlord has land that he's not using. So I have a garden now, and as I learn, last year I started definitely just winging it, and I have a little friend that my best friend made. She crocheted a little cactus, and so I use them to as a vehicle to share my struggles gardening and the things that I'm learning, and it's really fun.
Yeah.
Bam Bam.
Bam Bam. And everybody, you will soon be introduced to Bam Bam. It is springtime. Well, it may not always seem like that in Portland,
right.
But it is springtime. It's time to get our garden beds ready. Tell me about some of the things you're planting and that you're excited to get started.
I'm really excited for the herbs that are coming in. I have a big rosemary plant in my backyard, and I don't have to do very much with it, but it's flowering now, so I've been harvesting, and hydrosols. Where'd she go? I've been making hydrosols as well.
Tell me about hydrosols. That's a new word for me.
Right. Well, she definitely just explained it to you.
Okay, cool.
It's when you distill the essence of the plants, but not the oils. It's a water base.
Okay.
So I'm finding those really fun.
Yeah.
And I've been making these guys, just like the one I made for you.
Yes. Annaluna?
Annaluna.
Yes.
Because I'm Analise and I like the moon.
Oh, it's for Chris Franklin. Oh. I just got, oh my God, that smells amazing. I'm kind of blown away. Like, it was so gentle, but so effective. What is that like? I'm like citrus, eucalyptus.
Yeah, there's lemongrass.
Lemongrass.
And, I harvested some cherry blossoms, so I have some that are cherry blossom based, and some that are the rosemary and pear blossom base. And then I use essential oils on top of that, like so some target dry scalp. And then some have more oils that are like, for edges, and you just want to moisturize, things like that.
Now, tell me about the development of this. You just started gardening and distilling, and it seems like a bit of a process.
Yeah, I mean, I used to do hair a lot, and just like, not seriously, I never wanted to have a hair business, but I would do my own hair, and my friends would want me to do theirs. And so I was always making little things to help detangle or just to moisturize their scalp and really pamper them, because I really enjoy that time. It's like it's women time, it's very intimate for someone to like trust you in their scalp. And I always wanted to make it a really nice experience, so I figured I should share them and give samples.
Yeah.
And then the Luna thing is like, as we speak of the vagina, the uterus, and the rosaries and all those things, I just really like that the moon cycle is 28 days, the menstrual cycle is 28 days. So a lot of the same things that I'm doing are also rooted in those like feminine
time cycles. Yeah. So this is kind of just the latest rendition of what you've been doing. You had a shoe design series that you were a part of.
Yes.
That I'd like to talk about, because you do design in so many mediums. And in this particular show, you were doing color design with a team over at Pencil Academy. Pencil Academy. Yeah.
Great spot. If you're trying to be a sneaker designer, definitely sign up. Like, go watch their live streams and try to get into the program. So that particular pencil class was like televised, and I learned so much. We got to present on stage. I got to like pitch my shoe to Fetty Wap. I did a.
Baby.
I don't know why it's the first one. I mean, also like Damian Lillard and Anthony Anderson and Macklemore. Like, I'm really salty because he gave me really critical feedback.
Oh, jeez.
But he was right, so I can't even be salty.
Yeah. So I would be remiss to not take this opportunity to talk to somebody who participates in so many, I think emotionally driven artistic pieces. What really drives you when you produce the art that you produce?
Yeah, pretty femininity, really. The last painting I displayed, and it's my first painting sold. It was pretty big, and I actually used flowers to represent ovaries. So she had rosaries.
Over here. Wait.
These
over here. Yeah.
Yes, very good.
I'm learning.
But yeah, I'm always trying to do that. I'm always trying to, Nike has their, if you have a body, you're an athlete. If you can see and you have an instrument, you're an artist. And so I really like the figure drawing classes for letting people do something they usually don't feel like they can do. And really you can. It's just lines.
Yeah.
So really teaching and wellness and just nurturing energies.
Dope. Analise, thank you so much for coming on. Oh, first, where can my audience find you on social media?
Okay, you can find me at masterpeace.analise, peace, P-E-A-C-E .A-N-A-L-I-S-E.
Awesome. Analise, thank you.
Thank you.
Marvin, you got it. So, my next guest he exudes turning your hobbies into a profession. He's an amazing designer. You could find a lot of his pieces here at the Boys Fort. Brian, Space Monkey Designs. Come on out. Woo!
How we doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
After following that lineup, I'm gonna try.
No, like you have phenomenal work. I'm so excited to have you on, and this has definitely been like I could understand it as this is like a piece in progress, and for you to have your Space Monkey Designs here at Boys Fort, I think we are kindred spirits, and that we're bringing out that inner child, and we allow ourselves to be, childlike.
Absolutely.
In the work that we do.
Yeah, my inner child never went in. He just kind of stayed out.
Very cool.
So.
Yeah, let's talk about Space Monkey Designs.
Sure. Yeah, it's kind of been. It started as kind of my side hustle. Mm-hmm. I did professional design for years, but always did stuff on the side. So it was, it was kind of a funny balance that I was working at Nike as an apparel graphic designer, but then was doing freelance at night for Nike. Mm-hmm. So it was just kind of this thing that always kind of happened, and I always drew, and also worked, did a lot of drawing and paint. Did the street galleries, back on First Thursday, way back in the day.
Yeah.
Never sold a thing, but was always down there, and at that time I was doing a lot of hand burning into like wood furniture and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then my watercolors, so
yeah, people
walk by, kind of point and laugh.
Yeah.
Demoralizing. But we kept on going, and just kind of developed. It was always, like I said, a side hustle. It was the thing that I always did, kind of like the outlet to kind of keep things going, because it's like in professional designs, like you're always kind of playing within the confines. People are always like, be vastly creative within these confines.
These parameters, yeah.
And so, it was always the thing where it was like there were no parameters, there was no, filter. There was just kind of throw stuff up and see what stuck. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, you have a very successful design career in the professional world.
Yeah.
Like you've done full layouts of displays, like
a little bit of everything. Yeah, I do everything from identity work to event work to 3D design, 2D design, a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Is that still current, or are you?
Oh yeah.
There's a duality.
Yeah.
With space?
It's constantly going. It's funny because I graduated with a fine arts degree. Mm-hmm. So it's like at the time when I moved out here, getting into like Nike and getting in as a graphic designer didn't happen. I was actually told that I was academically inadequate to be a designer.
Ouch.
But I'm also not too smart either, so I was like, I'll just keep on going until something sticks, and so that's what I did. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so through that, kind of always looking to keep on learning.
Yeah.
The skill set got bigger and bigger because I kept on kind of moving and split. Every time that I kind of hit a ceiling, I'm like, all right, let's take a step to the right here and kind of see where the next ceiling is.
Yeah.
So through that, I got this like diverse kind of skill set of being able to do a lot of things, and then kind of approaching things kind of on this holistic design route where it's like, 2D elements and 3D elements do play together. Yeah. And it's like when you see it from a 360-degree view, then all of a sudden you've got this kind of great amalgamation of design kind of all working together.
Absolutely. And I think maybe some of the inspiration may come, which is very obvious when you witness your work. You're very comic book, superhero inspired.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I grew up in a small town, and so it was B movies and sci-fi every weekend, every, night and stuff like that. And so it was, comic books were at the local pharmacy. We go down, we pick those up, and that's just kind of what we had. And, it's like growing up, we used what was at arm's length. It's like there wasn't a whole lot. It's like my first Millennium Falcon wasn't the one that we bought at the store. It was the one that I made out of a bunch of styrofoam.
Awesome.
It's like we made toys out of wood. We did. It's just how we grew up. So and I think that's kind of reflected in what I do now, because it's like a lot of it is reclaimed wood. It's going out and picking stuff up, and I've got a patient wife, God bless her, because it's just like I'll roll home with like a coffee table, and she's like, okay, and then it's chopped up and it's turned into a painting. So it's just using kind of what's around instead of always kind of having to recreate stuff.
Totally. Where would you say that inspiration comes from?
Well, that's honestly, it's my folks. My folks were just, that's kind of the way they were. It's I learned dumpster diving from my dad. We used to roll around in our '79 Volvo wagon, and if there was something cool on the side of the road, we'd pick it up. And he would pick up, just huge things of glass and make greenhouses out of them, and take the glass, and when all the glass broke out, then he would use that for a drying rack, so it was just like this constant kind of like innovation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Both my folks were big into antiques, and so that's kind of where the roughed up kind of look of everything that I do kind of comes from. It's just this appreciation for kind of the tooth and texture of things.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see your work because, after you finish a piece, it's actually brand new, but I feel like you produce instant nostalgia.
That's what we go for.
Yeah.
I think it's got a little bit more of a story for it. It's like,
yeah.
We always used to go to auctions as a kid, and it's like whenever the pictures of people would come up, my dad would always lean over and go, instant relatives. And so it's the same kind of thing where it's like, a piece that's got a little bit of wear and tear on it, you've got a story that you can tell somebody.
Yeah.
If someone's like, oh, I love that, and you'd be like, oh yeah, I got there like 15 years ago, it was awesome, it looks like it's been out in the rain and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. What I'd really like to talk to you about, because you're such a prolific worker, I'd like to get into your head about the flow state of things and where you find like where you're most capable of producing your best work.
So it's funny. It's like a moving hour. You know what I mean? Is that there's always that the good hour, right? Where sometimes that hour will land at 10 a.m. And sometimes it lands at like 3 a.m. And sometimes it doesn't stop. But, it's always that kind of moment where you're just like, I'm in it. We're just going to keep on going.
Yeah.
At a project I was just working on actually for Design Week, and
Design Week, which is happening this week.
This week,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
awesome. Yeah,
and
everybody, if you are here in Portland, we have this awesome event called Design Week. There's exhibits all throughout downtown Portland.
Yeah, get out and see it.
Portland Central, designweekpdx.com. Yeah,
because it showcases everything that's good that's going on right now.
Yeah.
But I had one, where I was basically got one of the old PDX benches from the airport.
Oh, okay.
And so they had actually handed them out to a bunch of different agencies, and so I got a hold of one of them, and they were just basically wanting it to kind of be reimagined. And so I had hit a point where I was chasing a rabbit and didn't quite happen, but then I hit that kind of good hour and just happened to be at like, I think 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Where I think I probably stood and looked at the thing for probably 45 minutes. So I'm like, all right, come on. Got to talk to me. Well, what do we got? What do we got? And then I hit that, and I was just like, all right, we'll go.
Yeah.
And so it was a matter of, a couple hours later, it was like, okay, the idea was there, and we were off and running.
So is it on display here for Design?
It is. It's so it's pdxoriginals.com.
Okay.
They have all the benches because they have the ones they've reupholstered. But then it's the Design Week / TEDx collaboration they've got going on. So they'll actually be on display at their showroom. There's an open house, I think, this Friday, and then they'll be at TEDx on Saturday.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. I have so many questions for you. Space Monkey Designs. Let's talk about the name.
Yeah.
Like where did that all come from?
So everyone immediately goes to Fight Club.
Yeah.
Because there's that great scene. It's not that. I wish it was that. I wish it was that cool, but it's not that. Honestly, what it was is growing up, I had a very formal set of grandparents. And so the front room where, it was in Philadelphia, and so we'd go in and you'd sit down and you'd catch up with what's going on in your life and everything like that. My seat was always next to this ceramic monkey. Just creepy ass ceramic monkey that's just sitting there eating grapes, and you're just like,
I've got a creepy ass alien.
Well, right, yeah, exactly. Not that creepy.
I love you, Marvin. You're not creepy. You're sexy. You are sexy.
Creepy, sexy. That's how I got through high school. Anyway, so I always used to sit next to the monkey. The monkey was like the one thing that it was like my safe haven, because it was just kind of like, I hated the conversation and everything like that, and I would just kind of hang out with the monkey. And so when my grandparents passed, that was the one thing I actually asked for. So, again, patient wife, because, in the mail I get this huge ceramic monkey that scared the kids. The wife's like, yeah, we're not putting that up in the house and everything like that. So it was like monkey and then kind of folding in the whole sci-fi thing. So it kind of became Space Monkey.
That's so awesome. You've got amazing work from t-shirts to art pieces. You do it all. Even furniture.
Furniture.
Yeah. For my audience, how can they find your work?
My MySpace page is not up anymore.
I was hoping to hear, what do you have playing on your MySpace page?
You can find me at AOL.com. No, it's Space Monkey Designs on Instagram, Space Monkey D on Twitter.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming
Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. Marvin, you got it. Take it away. Such an awesome show, and it's not over. We've got an amazing musical guest. Her work is fantastic. Come on out, Kate Bula. Let's do this, everybody. Round of applause.
Hey, everybody. Do you guys love dancing?
Yeah.
Cool. This is a song about how awesome dancing is. It doesn't bother me if you step on my feet while we're dancing. I'm doing all the steps wrong, and your feet belong where mine are dancing. But this makes me feel weird, my forehead scratched by your beard while we're dancing. Oh, I hope I don't have BO. I'll try not to look up your nose while we are dancing. I can't tell if you're hitting on me. I don't think that I want you to be, but if you are, I can't blame you. We're the only ones here under 40. And I'm grateful, sir, you're teaching me these steps, but don't you think it's weird that my hand's on your bicep? I wish I could remember your name. Mine's Kat Bula. It's not my usual tack to let a strange man put his hand on my back, but we're dancing. I don't usually move the way a man tells me to, but we're dancing, and this rhythm section's got mojo. Wish I could take a violin solo instead of dancing. Let's face it, you are better at music too than you are at dancing. I don't think you're any more attracted to me than I am to you, so why the hell are we swaying and holding each other where everyone can see? Oh, maybe it's fate's way of making us friends, and the way this awkward story ends is that we go outside and talk about books till it's morning. Let's go outside and talk about books until it's morning. Let's go outside and not fuck each other. So when I saw where the show was going to be and was reading about it online and got to be here, and especially hearing the birthday boy earlier talking about how boys Ford isn't necessarily a gender-specific concept, I knew this song was where to go. Well, I wanted to buy a rapier, 'cause the blade on my old one got too dull. So I went to Walmart to buy a rapier, but they were out of every size but extra small. I might be 5 years old, but I'm a pirate nonetheless. I'm not about being cute, I'm all about rolling heads, so I sight. A photo of a pirate standing 6 feet tall. So I went inside and I walked up to the desk. I said, I need a fine blade, sir. What would you suggest? He said, we don't sell swords, miss. I might be 5 years old, but I'm a pirate nonetheless, and you would do well, sir, not to call me miss. He said, we don't sell swords, miss, we just sell DVDs. The pirate in the window is just Johnny Depp pretending he is one of your kind, but have you checked out Toys R Us? Well, that was it. I put my foot down, lifted my peg leg up, swept his knees, and he crashed to the ground. My dagger to his chin made a red line to his nape, and then I strangled him to death with cash register tape. I stole the first 3 seasons of Kids in the Hall, and that was the last time I went to the mall.
Woo! That was so awesome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So you've been performing in Portland for a little bit now, and it's not only the guitar, it's the fiddle.
I
too?
do, yeah.
Yeah.
I tour quite a bit playing fiddle for other people, and it's so exciting to get to be here and do my own music, so thanks for having me here to do
I'm
that.
so excited you got to do your own music here at the Voice Fort.
Seems like the right place.
It's the perfect place. Thank you so much for that performance. For my home audience, how can they find your work?
Yeah, I'm at katbula.com. It's Katbula. Also, Facebook at Katbula Music, Instagram at Katbula.
Kat, I've got one more thing for you.
Yeah.
I've got a special gift. Sonny from Chickaboom
What?
wanted to gift you a 1-string.
Are you serious?
Yes, absolutely.
That's so rad.
This is your new guitar.
Oh my God!
And after hearing your music, I'm so excited to. I'll hold it for you.
I was just thinking.
I'm so excited
Sounds a lot
to
of
hear
stress.
what comes of it. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
That's it. Episode 11, guys. We did it. Hey! We're here at Voice Fort. I want everybody to come to the stage. Watch your head, but come to the stage. Come on out. Come on out. I need everybody on camera. Miscreants, creatives, people doing their own thing here in a community in Portland, and I'm just so proud to be here with everybody here on stage. I'm proud to be with everybody at home. I hope you're inspired by everybody you saw here. Thank you, Voice Fort, for having us here. That's it! Ha 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 ha!